Hello guys, welcome back to the Extramural lecture by me, the Pep-up session. In the first part I told you about the psyche of the examiner, that you should know the intent of the examiner. I was largely focused upon letting you know that what kind of a paper can you expect from those guys who have taught me for 5 years. They taught me something really brilliant. I must tell you something, that while teaching my students I copy them a lot. I have to, because they impress me such that even while taking up teaching, that was one of those things which I had in my mind, because I'll name a few. The late Professor V.S. Rekhi, when he used to teach us in class, 2.5 hours, we never used to move from our seat, because such was their impact on us. They used to teach us Constitution of India. There are students who come to me and ask me, sir, the Constitution of India is this thick, how did you read it? I'm like, I don't know. I just know Constitution of India inside out, because the kind of professors who taught me, they told us one thing, that you should from this moment start seeing Supreme Court of India as your temple. The gods reside there, as in not the judges, but something, the force inside is a god. Law, that is the force which runs in this country. Such is the attitude of the professors there. Professor Moolchand Sharma sir, the way he taught me, he used to teach us jurisprudence, and believe me, it was taught to us in the 4th year, and I used to think, why didn't they teach us this subject in the 1st year? Because this guy, when he came, he walked into this particular room, he said, this is the science of law, understand the science of law. And then sitting there, I used to gauge the kind of a thinking this guy had. He passed that thinking on to us. What is that thinking? That thinking is rational thinking. Many few of us don't have such kind of a thinking, all thanks to the kind of environment we live. Law is just a subject matter. It's not considered by people. They just say that, okay, law books mein hi rehta hai. No, for these guys, law is much more important than anything else, because that is something that we have studied. That is something on which this country runs. If someone disrespects you, if there is something which deters you to take an action against him, that is law. You meet someone, you respect him, you go before him, that is also law. That is exactly how we have been made. Civility, etc., etc. So in the last lecture also I told you that when a subject, be it comprehension or anything, when something is asked, you have to understand the concepts as a law-abiding citizen. Any kind of your extra knowledge which you have gained from say a movie or something that you have seen in the society should not affect you. You should start believing in the system called as law. You should start believing in the system, the legislation, the legislative process, the judicial process, everything. And only then you will be able to sit in those 2 hours in that examination hall and get out with some marks which will get you to a law school. Clear? Now the next part of the lecture. In the next part of the lecture I want to tell you about, this is the best part of it, the subjects of CLAT. Those interesting subjects which make this examination a very indigenous examination. Let's start with a language. It's not a subject. I hate to call it as a subject. It's a language. It's called as English. Guys, you might think that you are very good at English, but the English that is asked in CLAT is British English. You may think, some of you may think, what is the difference? There's a difference between British English and American English. American English, you don't require any kind of a grammar. You can say, you can talk the way you want to. No one is going to stop you. But in British English, grammar is very important. In the field of law, British English and, as I said, this grammar, both combined together, whatever we were taught to you, say the law as it is written now, we follow the common law system which we got from the common law country called as Britain. We follow that system where interpretation of a given law is everything as it is. They won't be asking you to interpret any kind of a law, that you'll do it in those 5 years in law school. But here, given a reading comprehension question, a comma, a apostrophe, a full stop, all these will have their own meaning. Vocab, some kind of new words may be asked to you, will have its own meaning. You should have a very good English if you want to do really CLAT, because CLAT is not where a moment you pass out from National Law School, you are not going to a district court. Most probably, I don't want to demean district court. I mean, you would be aiming at practicing at a high court where the medium of arguments and the medium of litigation that you're going to do is going to be in English. So they require you they require your English to be A class. Now what kind of English is asked? They will stick to the basic rules of grammar. A red book which was given to us in our schooling days called as Renan Martin, you'll have to get it, you'll have to get your basic rules of grammar back. And you may think, no, I'm good. Guys, let's confess it, thanks to Facebook, thanks to SMSing, thanks to the BlackBerry Messenger, whatever kind of communication we do there is not something where we really respect grammar. If we have to write an article, we know the kind of mistakes that we will commit, and even our English teacher knows. It's a language, as I said, and you have to take it as a language. Because what is the importance of grammar in law? I'll tell you something. If there is a sentence, it says kill him, do not let him go. It says kill him, do not let him go. If I add a comma after do not, what does that become? Kill him, do not let him go. The entire meaning of the word changes. That is exactly the worth of English in CLAT. So please get back to Renan Martin, get your grammar too good, because when you will be sitting there for those 2 hours, you should not be thinking about what kind of a SMS have I sent. Those things should not come in. You should start focusing more on grammar. The next subject that I'm going to discuss here is mathematics, the nemesis of many students. Even I hated mathematics. The sole reason why I took up commerce in my 11th standard. I got good marks in 10th. The entire school and even my relatives from say abroad were also interested that you should take up maths. But I was very adamant on taking commerce because I knew I wanted to do law. But when I went for the examination, I knew one thing: 20 marks of mathematics. I need to get something out of it because this is the last time I'm meeting mathematics. So I gave my best. Guys, those subjects which are asked in mathematics are also very, very easy. You may hate me for this, but believe me, yes. And percentage and interest, time, distance, speed, etc., etc. I do think you can do it. Out of 20, at least a 15 is something which you can get. This year, NLIU Bhopal is going to make a paper, and as every year they may have tough mathematics, but I do think you should go ahead with it. In the next half of the lecture, I'll be focusing on the other subjects. For this particular time, I'm signing off right now here. You may ask me that why these bits and pieces of lectures. I have been told that YouTube only permits 15 minutes of videos, so I'm trying to cut it up. You may see it at your own leisure. If you hate this particular part of the lecture for I discuss mathematics, you may not see it. But if you want to score, as I said, you have to have good mathematics, and mathematics you have to practice. If you do not practice, it will not come. Many of the students, when I teach, have this kind of attitude that we just mug up mathematics and we'll walk away. That is not done, guys. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of CLAT. After CLAT, you need not study mathematics at all. Then it's all about those wonderful laws that has been taught to you, in your if you are doing coaching, etc. So go for it. Don't waste time. And in mathematics, when you are sitting in CLAT, in those 2 hours, I guess you can do mathematics in plain 8 minutes. In 8 minutes you can do it. And moreover, I think mathematics becomes easy because on a particular step, you will be able to deduce which one of the options out of the options is the closest to the answer. That is mathematics. You have 4 options. When you are on a particular method, you may start visualizing through elimination method. Okay, this particular option is closer to the answer. Go ahead. You don't have time. Time management, I will discuss it in the next lecture. So I'm signing off for this part. Meet you in the next.